What's going on, guys? Bet Records back with week 14 of the NFL season. Season's just flying on here, and we're going to be tackling the 13 games coming up this week, looking at the spreads of each game and picking the overall winners, at least of what we're predicting here. If you guys aren't already subscribed and liking these videos, make sure you're doing that. Definitely helps out the channel. We're starting to do some prize picks betting as well, some player prop over and under, passing yards, receiving yards, all that good stuff on our Instagram as well. So if you guys are interested in any of that, certainly let me know in the comments on game day, and I can certainly give you, what we're rolling with, what we're looking at, or of course, check out our Instagram at bet_records as well on there. But nonetheless, let's get right into this video here. We got the Raiders and the Rams starting on Thursday night here. Should be a good game. However, with the Rams, I don't know if they're going to start Baker Mayfield or not. You guys may have noticed Panthers finally just dropped him. I've said from about week 2 now, I think it was even after week 1 about, the Baker train is done. There's nothing to pull out of that anymore. It's over. If they end up playing Baker Mayfield, which I kind of doubt, I think he needs at least another week at least to kind of get acclimated to the play calls and such. Then I would, either way, I'm taking the Raiders on this one. Even against the spread, I would lean this. I think the Rams might keep it close with Akers. He had a great game last week, scored at least touchdown, if not 2, if I remember correctly. But he, they're trying to utilize him. They couldn't get rid of him, and they're like, you know what, let's use this guy. And I think honestly, they're just trying to burn him out. So I expect a decent game from him. Higbee might be a great dump off target as well. Wide receiver room is just all over the place for the Rams side of the ball. But with the Raiders here, I would expect a Devontae Adams touchdown again. He got at least 2 again last week. And this guy is just going to score a touchdown just about every week. So I know the front line for the Rams will be a concern for Derek Carr. Hopefully, he can get some protection this Thursday night. Josh Jacobs is kind of going to be a question mark for me about a strong start. Definitely running back 2 all the way still. He's got that great upside, but nonetheless, I'm going to roll with the Raiders here overall and as well against that minus 5.5 spread. I think they can win this one by a touchdown. So next matchup here is probably my favorite game of the week. Let me know down below what you guys think. Everyone thinks, this should be an easy, Bills victory, right? But we already saw earlier this season that the Jets did pull out a victory against this Bills offense. So now with it being in Buffalo, they're both from the same state, so it's kind of funny. They're not very home, far away from home, I should say. But nonetheless, it will be in the field state or the Buffalo Bills Stadium, and on their home turf. So nonetheless, here I'm gonna go with the Jets. We did see Von Miller have an injury as well, and will definitely be out for a couple weeks. I haven't seen full season as of yet, but it looks like he may need some surgery as well with this latest injury. So that defense is going to be, trying to connect the pieces and figure out that middle hole right there in the defense without Miller this upcoming week. And with, the Jets already pulling it out, Mike Davis is doing awesome for the Jets as quarterback as well. We saw him throw a ton against the Vikings last week. Of course, unfortunately, they could not get the win there, but I'm certainly taking the Jets against the plus 9.5 spread. I'm hitting that one now. I think that drops significantly come Sunday. And then I'm also going to take them for the win overall as well. At the end of the day, I feel like this one is slightly a toss-up just because I love Josh Allen, and I'm pretty sure we all have to at this point. He's kind of, picking up steam after his injury kind of concerns. It looks like he's kind of getting back to his normal groove. Nonetheless, again, I'm going to take the Jets. Moving on to the next noon slate game for this Sunday, we got the 5-7 Browns at the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 8-4. I'm going to hit this spread as well for the Bengals, as well as their overall. We got Deshaun Watson. He started last week, did not look very well, just kind of looked rusty, unfortunately. Didn't do much for rushing on the ground either, which of course was part of his game. Maybe they get something moving there, but with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt as well in that backfield, I'm not sure if they really need to use Watson for his legs, essentially. So that'll be still interesting to see how it plays out and how they can make Deshaun Watson work in that offense. But nonetheless, I have to pick Joe Burrow. I think they're going to get some cheap shots and some hard hits on Watson. We all want to see that. And especially since it's in Cincinnati, I have to roll with Joe Burrow and Cincinnati now that they got both their wide receivers fully healthy and ready to catch some touchdowns. Moving on to the next one here, we got the newest slate game. I believe number 3, Texans at the Cowboys. Definitely got to take the Cowboys, especially at home, especially against a Houston team who has not won a game in forever. The 60.5 point spread, I personally will just stay away from. We know they scored 40, 50 some points last week, I believe, and continue to put up great numbers. They got a great team so far. They're, again, at this point in the season, they look like the Super Bowl, favorites. Let's just say that, right? But we all know how they perform in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens when we get to that point this week. Definitely got to take the Cowboys overall. Against the spread, I would lean this way as well, but it's just a big number. I wouldn't hit this one if I was actually throwing money on. Next game here is the noon slate, Vikings versus Lions game. I have to lean, Vikings are underdogs in this one, and that's kind of what I figured. I have to lean the Vikings only because I'm a homer, but at this point, I think the Vikings are due for a loss. If anything, they're going to win by 3 points, a field goal towards the end of the game. But this Lions offense is just kicking and rolling. The running game is working well. The passing game is working amazing with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Williams as well should be back. The wide receiving rookie for Detroit should be back. He played, 17% of snaps, I think, last week. It was his first week truly starting for the team, had 1 target. But nonetheless, this Lions offense threw all over the field last week. Vikings, I believe, are top 5 for giving up passing yards to opposing quarterbacks as well so far into the season. So I am gonna lean Detroit as my final decision. This one's a toss-up too. I wouldn't take this one overall unless you're feeling some certain way. Just feel I'm a little biased with us living in Minnesota, but nonetheless, if I was outside, I think I have to pick Detroit, just how it's rolling. And we saw how Minnesota did against the Cowboys as well. So they're going to have another loss here soon. We'll just see where the Vikings fall. Next matchup here, we got the Eagles at the Giants. I have to certainly take the Eagles here. The Giants have a pretty good defense. They were rolling at the beginning of the season, but now they've kind of started to slow down. We saw the tie with Washington last week. They at least held the tie in that last matchup last week. Nonetheless, we got to roll Jalen Hurts. A.J. Brown looked phenomenal against his former team in the Tennessee Titans last week as well. They're rolling on all cylinders right there. The Giants still have injury concerns at wide receiver and such. So we're going to roll with the Eagles in this one. Next matchup on the noon slate, we got the Baltimore Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I normally, of course, would go Baltimore in this one, but as the spread is saying here, Pittsburgh is now favored due to Lamar Jackson's injury. We got Huntley starting at quarterback there who, can put some work in on his feet, but it's just nothing like Lamar. So I definitely got to go with the Steelers. They got the better defense as well. The Ravens, I just don't really like their wide receivers. I get, Kenny Pickett as well has been pretty 50-50 on some of these plays, but I'm going to roll with him and Pickens, and hopefully they can make some big plays there this week. Next matchup here, we got the Jaguars at the Titans. Jacksonville has been kind of fallen. Trevor Lawrence hasn't been doing as good as we had, wanted, I should say. Injury concerns, we got it all going on in Jacksonville, whereas Tennessee has been pretty consistent. Passing game is pretty much nothing except for Treylon Burks connecting about 5 catches a game, I believe. Robert Woods, absolutely nothing. In this one, I have to take the Titans, especially at home. I think they will beat this spread as well. Derrick Henry should be able to run all over this defense. So yeah, I got to take the Titans. Nothing I'm too excited for on the Jaguars side of the ball, except for some, garbage time, yardage or something if they're really down. Looking at Christian Kirk, being a great, full PPR fantasy football player, especially as a flex player. So looking forward to some of that last minute kind of dump the ball down the field plays. Moving into the next slate of games, the 3:00 game Central Time, we got the Chiefs at the Broncos. We have to take the Chiefs overall. I think they can beat the spread as well. It will be kind of a test for Patrick Mahomes to see if really how he utilizes these new weapons without Tyreek Hill being there. But we know Russell isn't going to score on offense. We got to give this one to the Chiefs. Next one here, we got the Bucks and the 49ers. I'm going to lean the 49ers. I know we got the rookie quarterback, the seventh rounder, I believe is the last pick in the draft this year for the 49ers. But nonetheless, they got the weapons. They got McCaffrey. They got Debo. I know there's some question marks as of Wednesday, Tuesday, I believe. I can't remember which day it was, but I think they should be able to get healthy here. They should they should be able to put this through. We know the other running back, Elijah Mitchell, as well, is injured, so that'll force McCaffrey to get some more usage, and hopefully they can take this one out. I know we're betting against Tom Brady. We saw what we did last week. And that last kind of minute 20 probably left on the clock win for him on Monday night. But nonetheless, with this 49ers defense, he's going to have a tough time tossing the ball down the field. Next game here, we got the Panthers at the Seahawks. I have to take Seattle in this one just because they're the home team. Foreman, I would project he gets a little bit over 11 points. It's really touchdown dependent for him at this point in the season. They're not in playoff contention. They're not trying to toss the ball everywhere, so we might get a little bit more touches or looks. However, I just think Geno's been really consistent. He's been scoring about 20 fantasy points past 3, 4, 5 games, I believe. I'm going to take them at home as well, as they're still trying to get in that wild card spot, whereas the Panthers, a little too late. We got the Sunday night matchup here next coming. We got the Miami Dolphins at the Chargers, who are 6-6. Mike Williams, it's just like every week. He's supposed to be back, and he never ends up coming back. I think he might be back for this one. That's going to be my guess, but we got to roll with Tua and the Dolphins here. They're just on absolute tear and rolling. They made some great moves on defense as well during the trade deadline, as we all know. So I'm going to definitely take them. Herbert has been looking a little bit lackluster. Eckler's been doing amazing as usual and as expected, but we just got to roll with Tyreek Hill and Tua in this one. The final game for this week, we got the Patriots at the Cardinals. Both teams aren't having the best of records. Maybe someone sneaks in there into a wild card or something. We still got a handful of weeks left. Again, this season is just flying the fuck by. I'm going to lean the Patriots. I love DeAndre Hopkins in this game. Looking at him for player props probably in this week. Reception yards, we'll figure that out. If you want, again, look at those and what we're looking at for player props, make sure you're checking out our Instagram on Sunday or comment below, and I'll definitely post those down below if I see someone asked for those. But in this one, we got to go with the Patriots. I just know that the Cardinals have been a little sus, to say the least, here as of late. Bill Belichick does kind of start to roll towards the end of the season, kind of finalizing his team. Now it's okay, 100% Mac Jones as of now, unless he changes his mind again. But just kind of they slid some of those final things on both sides of the ball. They have a great pass rush as well on defense. So I think Kyler Murray will have a tough time in this game playing against the Patriots on Monday night primetime as well. So that is the picks for this week. Thanks for tuning in. As always, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button for more. We're doing these picks every single week. And again, if you guys want some player props, make sure to leave some comments and let me know what you guys are looking at or what you guys have questions on. Thanks again for tuning in. As always, we'll check you guys out in the next one. Peace out.